Hello and welcome to another edition of HG Tanya Talk. I am Brandon Rooker along with my co-host Aaron Wagner, and today we are going to recap round number 2 of the 2012 NFL Draft. So, Aaron, let's get the fun started.
All right.
The Rams picked first with the 33rd overall pick. They took Brian Quick, a wide receiver out of Appalachian State. The Colts followed that pick by taking Kobe Fleener, a tight end out of Stanford. Which isn't that much surprising considering their quarterback they took first overall was also out of Stanford. Could have been a connection, maybe not, who knows. But anyway, Fleener's still a Colt. The Ravens, this one hurt, personally, for me. The Ravens took Courtney Upshaw, the outside linebacker from Alabama. I had a fool's hope that maybe Green Bay would somehow end up with him yet, even though it was a very small chance. But anyway, he's a Baltimore Raven, and I think he fits in well there. The Broncos take Derek Wolfe, a defensive tackle out of Cincinnati. The Browns take Mitchell Schwartz, who's a tackle out of California. Aaron, those are the first 5 picks of the second round. Do you have anything you want to say about any of those picks?
Good pick, Fleener to the Colts. Gives Andrew Luck his own weapon that he knows.
Comfort factor?
Yep. Courtney Upshaw, he'll fit right in with that Ravens
Definitely.
defense.
I like that pick for Baltimore a lot.
I think it's going to help him right away. He'll be a solid contributor and eventually
Definitely.
take over down the road. I think, solid players in between there, too. I think Cleveland, this is kind of a under-the-radar pick, too. They get that right tackle, protect their quarterback, which would probably be Whedon.
Yep.
So, this is just you're picking out qualities, hopefully starters, in the second and third rounds here. So, that's all I got for those first 5.
All right, very good, very good. 6th pick in the second round, the Jaguars take Andre Branch, who's a defensive end out of Clemson. The Rams, now this is a somewhat surprising pick, yet somewhat not surprising. The Rams take Janoris Jenkins with the 7th pick of the second round. He's a corner out of North Alabama, also spent 3 years at Florida before getting kicked off the team. The only issue with, the only issue, but it's a big issue, is he has just as many arrests by the police as he does years played for Florida, which would be 3 apiece. 2 of which, if my sources are right, are for pot. Again, unofficial. But, Aaron, what do you think? You think it's too early to take a flyer on a guy like Janoris Jenkins, or do you think the Rams have nothing to lose, throwing your lot with a guy who's potentially a top 15 talent without the issues?
That's the thing. You look at 2 ways. He's not on a good team, so is it going to affect his character? He doesn't maybe has as veteran leadership there, but they do have Cortland Finnegan there, but he's not Mr. Perfect either. He's been in some fights,
He's
Andre Johnson, But you look at it, they get good value. If he turns out to be the guy that he is on the field with all the off-field problems, it's hard to judge. Then it's an absolute steal. I think it's a good pick for them there, to be quite honest with you.
All right, very good, very good. The 8th pick, the Panthers take Amini Silatolu. May or may not have pronounced that correctly, I'm not sure. But anyway, he is a tackle out of Midwestern State. All right, number 9 pick, Cordy Glenn, finally off the board. I think it's a good value for the Bills to take him at 41. But anyway, he is the 9th pick in the second round. The Bills take Cordy Glenn, tackle out of Georgia. Played primarily guard there, but apparently he's going to be a tackle in the NFL. Then the 10th pick will be Jonathan Martin, the offensive tackle from Stanford. He goes to Miami Dolphins. Aaron, anything you want to say about any of the other picks between 6 and 10?
Jonathan Martin, you put him on the other side of Jake Long, and you have Ryan Tannehill there. I think that's going to help Ryan Tannehill along big time, to be quite honest with you. So,
Very cool, very cool. All right, so 11th, we have the Jets taking Stephen Hill, or Stephen Hill, I'm not sure which is the pronunciation. But anyway, he's a wide receiver at Georgia Tech. The Chiefs take Jeff Allen, a tackle out of Illinois. The Bears take Alshon Jeffrey, a very, very big wide receiver out of South Carolina, 6'4", 230. Another matchup problem here, maybe for the Packers, or not? What do you think about Jeffrey?
Jeffrey, I'm a big fan of him. I think he's
Jeffrey?
gonna have a good career. Big, tall, goes up against the ball. Yeah, it's scary. You're gonna have to worry about him and Brandon Marshall. That could be some problems there for the Pack. I like good pick for the Bears. Great value. Yeah.
Our division, I think in general, has had a pretty good draft this year.
I would agree.
Making the division better. All right, so the Eagles had the 14th pick. They take Michael Kendricks, inside linebacker out of Cal. The Seahawks next also take an inside linebacker, Bobby Wagner. As much as I know, no relation to
No relation. No.
It's Aaron Wagner here.
No.
A little more African American. Not that permanently separates you from your family members, but makes the chances go down slightly.
Yep.
But anyway, Bobby Wagner, inside linebacker from Utah State, goes to Seattle at the 15. The Patriots have the 16th pick. They take Tavon Wilson, free safety out of Illinois. The Chargers take the 17th pick and take Kendall Reyes, defensive tackle out of Connecticut, a guy maybe Green Bay was looking for, but we'll get to who they took instead later on. 2 more picks, actually.
Sorry, I just got to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Jaguars just took a punter 3rd round. That's kind of big news. You don't see it too often.
Green Bay did that a few years
Packers
ago. Didn't work
screwed
too
up,
good.
yeah. So
I wouldn't advise that.
Sorry to get you off track here, but
No,
yeah,
that is totally okay.
I felt like it's worth an announcement of making a stupid pick.
We have the NFL draft on the TV off screen, so we're keeping up to date as we give you the picks here. The Rams have the 18th pick in the 2nd round. They take Isaiah Peter, running back out of Cincy, and then the 19th pick, Green Bay trades up. The Cardinals and the Eagles both had this pick previously, but Green Bay takes a 51st pick, and they take defensive tackle who will now be a defensive end. At least that's the thought process. And Jarrell Worthy, a defensive tackle out of Michigan State. Aaron, what do you think of this guy, Jarrell Worthy?
Worthy. I just want to touch on a couple players before that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like quickly Michael Kendricks,
Mhm.
linebacker. Eagles needed one. I think he'll be a good player for them. Isaiah Pete too. It's gonna be a nice 1-2 punch with Steven Jackson in St. Louis. I like him. He's a fast kid, but he's really tough too.
Yeah.
The Packers pick, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
He was a problem for the Badgers this past season,
And
as everyone
Yeah.
else in the Big Ten.
I love
Yeah.
his face paint too.
Yeah,
I love his face paint.
you're gonna put him with Raji and Matthews and some other guys. They're gonna create pressure. I really like this pick.
Yeah.
Really, I think you're a big fan of it too.
As much as I had questions in the 1st round with Perry, it's how few questions I have with Jarrell Worthy. Absolutely love this guy. I mean, I remember watching those Wisconsin games this year, and I remember this guy just absolutely ripping you apart, And you always kind of at the time you always hate the guy because you're like, the enemy. But just like AJ Hawk a few years ago, when you take the Ohio State guy that again had beaten you quite badly during the year at Wisconsin. Hey, if you can't beat them, join them.
Exactly,
and we take them. So I love it. I think he has a really good chance to come in and start day one, in my opinion. I think he's a safer pick than Perry. Might not have quite the upside, even though I think he has quite a bit of upside. But I think his bust rate's less than Perry's too. But I feel like one thing I really feel like this pick does for the Packers, and for Perry especially, is I think it takes a little pressure off Perry, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because if you put Worthy in here, he's a guy who can rush a passer from the defensive end spot. He's going to be an upgrade in the pass rushing sense from who they have already. So that's going to help the pass rush. That's going to take a little bit of pressure off Perry to get to the quarterback. But if they both can even, do an adequate job, they can help Clay out, and it's a really nice pick for Green Bay's pass rush. So Aaron, what do you so far through the first 2 picks? We'll ask you again this after Green Bay. We announced Green Bay's 2nd pick because they did trade up again to get into the 2nd round. But what grade would you give them after the first 2 draft picks?
B+.
B plus.
Yeah, I feel like your main concern is Nick Perry's kind of tweener might have to work with him. That's the main concern. You get great value with Worthy.
Yeah.
Second round. Possibly could have been a 1st round pick too.
Yeah, ironically, my big board that I use is the NFL Draft Countdown board. It's a site that I use quite regularly to monitor draft stuff. And actually, Worthy was ranked 10 spots higher than Perry. Worthy was the 25th, Perry was the 35th overall, which doesn't mean anything really.
Right.
But as far as the value goes for the 2nd round pick, very good value. Mike Mayock, who's the guy who does the draft coverage on the NFL Network, said he was the highest guy left on his board, and that he was a 1st round guy in a lot of mocks. So really good pick for the Packers. But anyway, Aaron, we're gonna move on a little bit here. We'll get to the Packers' next pick in a little bit. The Titans take Zach Brown with the 20th pick. He's an outside linebacker out of North Carolina. The Bengals take Devin Still, another guy Green Bay maybe could have taken. But they take him with the 21st pick. He's a defensive tackle out of Penn State. The Lions take Ryan Broyles, a wide receiver out of Oklahoma. Another receiver in that division. What do you think?
Yep. Kelvin Johnson.
Yep.
Kelvin Johnson's on the cover of Madden. It's Madden curse.
He's going to get hurt this year.
He's
So
going to get hurt. So, he's going to be a good replacement for Kelvin Johnson. I hate to say it, I'm not wishing an injury upon him.
No.
But,
I hear you.
it's kind of a proven fact that there is a Madden curse.
Yep.
And, so they're covering themselves there a little bit.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
in reality, though, he is a good receiver.
No, and if Johnson can break the curse, they're going to be really good together.
Exactly, yeah.
So definitely. All right, so the Falcons Took Peter Kahns with the 23rd pick. Kahns, of course, is the center out of Wisconsin. So he's a Falcon now. The Steelers take Mike Adams, an offensive tackle out of Ohio State, with the 24th pick. A lot of Big Ten guys going here.
I like that Pittsburgh pick.
Yeah.
Mike Adams, some character issues. He didn't.
They'll whip him into shape in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he didn't.
They don't take no nonsense.
He didn't do so good at the combine. He slid, but just another guy to protect Big Ben. He added a guard and tackle. I think they're having a good draft as well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Broncos take Brock Osweiler.
Osweiler.
Okay.
Yep.
Big old quarterback, 6'7", 242. Aaron, do you think he's a guy that can come into Denver and start right away? Do you think he's a guy that they're going to play for the future a little bit? Do you think it's a good pick here, or what do you think about?
I mean, they do have that Peyton Manning guy.
Yeah.
Starting.
Yeah.
So Osweiler, he'll learn from him for a while, and then take over. Yeah, hopefully Peyton can teach him some things. But he's got tall kid, good arm. Yeah, he's got loads of potential. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, solid pick for him.
Just for the record, I was setting Aaron up with that one. I knew Peyton Manning was going to start next year.
Yeah. Okay.
Just kind of a clutch.
Sure.
Anyway, moving on. Levante David goes 26 of the Buccaneers. Aaron, I know you and we've talked about this before. Really big fan of Levante David.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I wasn't a fan of him for the Packers, but
system things.
because of the system.
Yeah.
But overall, for a 4-3 team,
Dynamite.
amazing. Yes.
Effort max.
Yeah.
Max effort.
I feel like you put Tampa Bay has a good, young, fast, athletic defense already.
And he
You add Mark Barron in the first round. You get Levante David. I think they're going to be set for many years to come. I really like that pick.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Vinny Curry goes 27th to the Eagles. He's the defensive end out of Marshall, who kind of did himself in to be a 3-4 outside linebacker when he ran a 4.8 40, roughly. The Ravens take Kalichi Osamale with the 28th pick. He's a tackle at Iowa State. The Niners, in my opinion, get a really nice pick here. LaMichael James, running back out of Oregon. You may have heard of him. He's a Heisman candidate a few years ago and ran for about 1,800 yards last year, while his Oregon Ducks beat the Badgers in the Rose Bowl.
I think it's kind of interesting. They got Frank Gore. They drafted Kendall Hunter last year. He played really good as their backup last year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, he's a good pick for that 49. Just gives him even more star power for you.
Definitely. All right, so the Packers traded back up into the second round to get the 62nd overall pick, which would be the 30th pick of the second round. They traded to the Patriots, and they take a guy by the name of Casey Hayward, who is a defensive back, probably a corner, out of Vanderbilt. Aaron, what do you think about Casey Hayward?
To be honest with you, I think he's a good pick for them. I'm a big fan of Jermaine Johnson available. Unfortunately, he went later early in the third round. Yeah, Hayward, he's a ball hawk. He tackles, but I think the main thing is ball hawk. He's going to go for those picks. Yeah, he's going to be your corner. You got Tremont, Sam Shields, Woodson. You got Devon House too. I don't know personally. I don't know if they're thinking of maybe putting him at safety or possibly moving Woodson to safety. But that could be something to keep an eye on. That they could move him to safety.
You think Hayward would project better or just as good as a safety, or do you think he'd be a better corner? Level?
To be honest, I haven't watched that much
film
on him. I feel like he could make this transition to safety. But at the same time, I know Capers he's high on Pepra and Burnett. So,
Burnett, yeah, I like Burnett a lot, and I feel like he's young. He's only going to get better. Pepra, I have my doubts. I like him as a backup. I like him as a guy that if you need him for a quarter here, quarter there, a game here, a game there, I'm happy with him. But as a guy that I'm going to say 16 games a year, get out there, buddy, and play football, I don't like him. I don't like him for that. So, excuse me. But I feel that I think Hayward's a solid pick. I would give, at this point in the draft, I would give the Packers a B. Just because I feel like there's a little bit too much questioning for my comfort. And that goes with their first pick with Perry, just the things with, maybe he's a tweener or not. And then also with Hayward, there potentially could have been some corners that were higher. I really like Worthy. I think Worthy's the best pick so far in this draft, Aaron. I can disagree about that. But I also give it a B because overall, even though there's some questions, I feel like they got some high-quality guys. And I feel like they got some guys that more than likely will be at least adequate and help out, you know what I mean? And the thing is this, I'd like to make the point that all you really got to do is kind of clear Clay Matthews up. You know what I mean? You got to let Clay be Clay. You don't have to make another Clay. You just gotta find a guy that lets Clay be Clay.
Yeah, like I said before,
It
they
makes
were
sense
they were
to you?
15-1 last year. You don't. I mean, yeah, they need some
Right.
players here.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just
Exactly.
gotta
Exactly.
give the wheel a little push. Just see where it goes. Maybe
Exactly.
run over some Vikings and some Bears and some
Yeah,
Lions
exactly.
and some Giants. The
Mhm.
Giants. I think the Giants might be becoming our number one out of division rival. And you know what? I have to say that the Giants. I give them credit for last year. I feel like they were the better team when they came into Green Bay. There's no hostility, at least in my end, because to be fair, we were trying to do the same thing to them as they did to us, and they were just better at it. And, kudos to them. They did a good job, just like back in '07. They deserve that too. They were a better team that year as well. So I respect the Giants, but also with that respect comes the fact that we're gunning for them. They're the champs now. They got the belt, so we want it back. So anyway, to conclude the second round coverage, the Giants took Ruben Randall, a wide receiver out of LSU, with the 31st pick, 63rd overall, and that will be your second round. Interesting at the moment, and we might cover this in our next video that covers the third round. There's a lot of talk about Russell Wilson maybe being drafted here momentarily.
Yeah, the Chiefs just traded into that slot.
With the 11th pick in the third round.
Yeah. So the Chiefs.
Interesting
the Chiefs
to
could,
see.
Chiefs could use a quarterback to at least provide pressure.
And Wilson's risen on board because, coming into this draft, I was under the assumption that Green Bay could look at him in the 5th or 6th round and maybe try to plug in as their new backup. But I don't think he's going to make it that long.
Yeah.
So, I guess for this edition of Tundra Talk, we are done, but stay tuned because we will be covering round 3 at some point in time. And we probably will be talking about another Badger named Russell Wilson. Perhaps going to the Chiefs, perhaps not going to the Chiefs, but perhaps somewhere in that third round. So anyway, until then, thank you for watching, and enjoy the NFL Draft, everybody.